All right, everybody, welcome back to Open Mat Chat. This is episode 55. Today we have Missy. Do you say your last name Estrada?
Yeah.
Missy Estrada. Fight to Win, promoter, matchmaker, owner. What is your title?
I'm the VP, and just to be quite honest with you right now, really don't feel like explaining who I am or what I do because that's always the same fucking question I get on a podcast. Tell me who you are and what you do. Y'all should fucking know by now. I'm the
Yeah.
VP of Fight to Win. Same question every time. Let's get past that.
All right, I like that. How long you been training?
7 years.
7 years.
Jiu-jitsu, 7 years. I used to do a lot of Muay Thai, but I once I started Jiu-jitsu, I stopped. I have a very involved professional career, and I just didn't have time to do both.
Yeah, I seen a post today about working over and living in St. Simon Island.
Yeah.
Yes, my wife's family lives out there, so we go out there twice a year.
Oh, nice. St. Simons is really, really nice. But that means you also know what it's like in Brunswick, right across the bridge.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a jiu-jitsu gym, the Brunswick Jiu-Jitsu gym out there.
Scott Devine.
Yeah, so I go up there and train with those guys.
He's a good guy. He's got a lot of guys from Fletsy out there.
Yeah, so I got a couple friends, John, and a couple other guys that are from Flexi, and yeah, good group of guys.
For sure.
And it's kind of nice to go out there to be on the beach and relax, but not living out there.
Yeah, it's pretty nice out there. On the island it is. Yeah.
Is that where you're from?
No.
No.
No, nobody's from St. Simon's Island. I'm from the border of Mexico, homie.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What side?
Our
What
side.
border? What border? Like El
I'm
Paso?
in the valley, in the Rio Grande
Okay.
Valley.
Oh, nice.
I was born in Harlingen and raised in San Benito.
So you can explain what happened to your lip? Or is it a secret?
When you live out in the country, sometimes you just have accidents and just some shit like that. I got popped in the face in a spot where I had already been hit before, and I had it was like super sensitive tissue. This happened. I got hit in the face by Jaden with a pipe when we were doing teardown on the Fresno show.
Oh, man.
She took it off real ugly and she swung it back and she hit me in the mouth with it. And, when somebody hits you, you feel like a little dip in your flesh sometimes.
Yeah.
It's been like that ever since. I got popped in the face on Sunday and my fucking mouth exploded. And my little sister was just like, we should go to the hospital because it looks bad. And I was like, I'm chilling. I'm just going to tough it out, whatever. And then she goes, go look in the mirror. And yeah, I was fucking all fucked up and bleeding. I was like, I didn't feel nothing. Adrenaline hit. We're out in the fucking country. So she finds this little clinic and we walk in there and there's two people in there, some super country ass doctors. And the lady's like, what's going on? What happened to you? I was like, I just got popped. Can you sew it back up or something? And she's like, let me take a look. So she doesn't have any equipment or anything like that. So she says to my little sister, would you mind sticking your fingers in her mouth and just opening it up so that I can put the sutures in? And I was like, come on, do it. And then so she calls out to the other girl that's in the front and she says, do we have a light? I can't see in her mouth. And I was like, okay, well, did you want me to hold up my cell phone light to my mouth?
Oh, my God.
And she's like, would you? And I was like, bet, let's do it. 10 stitches. It was hilarious. It was pretty funny.
Did she at least numb you up?
Yeah, she put a bunch of shots in my mouth and then but like that shit doesn't help. Like it's just the same shit, so you just kind of have to tough it out. They sew it up. Gave me a bunch of other shots for like tetanus shot and whatever, but I'm okay with needles.
So the stitches are inside the lip?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Those are the worst. So,
Yeah.
do you usually train jiu-jitsu every day?
Not every single day. I try to do several times a week. Over quarantine, we did quite a bit because we had a lot of. I stayed at Seth's house in Denver for 2 months over the quarantine, and me and everybody in the house, we're lucky enough to have a really huge front room with huge, lots of mat space.
Right.
So we just worked out every day after we're working and making plans of how to get back into business with all this, limitation on how many people we can have around,
Right. Yeah, that quarantine training that helped us out a lot too. We uh, we
That
went
I was very fortunate. We had 6 grapplers in the house, all purple belting up.
right.
No white belts allowed.
Was that the rule?
Well, one showed up from Easton, Denver, and he was kind of a little fucking bitch.
How was he a bitch?
He submitted a 10-year-old child 6 times in a row, and I don't think that's functional.
Oh man, what a douche.
Yeah, that's very arrogant there.
Seth's son, my nephew,
Oh, that's messed up.
very.
Yeah, I saw pictures of you guys in there, like a group picture afterwards, training and stuff. And
Yeah, it's the guy on the far opposite side of Drew Dober.
yeah, what a douchebag. That worked out good that you got to be quarantined with a bunch of jiu-jitsu guys and work.
Well, yeah, that's like my home away from home, Denver.
So were you guys the first jiu-jitsu promotion back?
No,
No? Who came back first?
who cares? We're better.
You're better. That's why I haven't heard. I didn't hear nothing.
Well, now you know. I mean, you
just-
didn't hear about it, so it must not be important.
So I'm going with. I've been telling people you were the first back. So
First one I heard of.
Let me look in jiu-jitsu.
yeah.
No, MMA. The first person back was my buddy Mitch. So shout out to Mitch, a big, huge inspiration to me. When I was coming up through the game, trying to get into the business, him and Josh Saman were huge heroes to me. Him and Richard Cox out there in Tallahassee. I was training in Savannah, Georgia, with Missy Corbray. And a lot of that circuit is run, combat night. And that's where I learned quite a bit of stuff and the difference between valuing your time and giving it to people that don't deserve it.
Nice. That was in Savannah, you said?
Mitch is out of Tallahassee.
Oh, okay.
So they're the Florida-based Southeast region pioneers of the MMA scene out there. And I come from Houston, and so my personal hometown hero is Mick Maynard, obviously. And I was very used to seeing, shows the caliber of like Legacy and UFC. So when I moved out there, I was just like, this isn't, I don't get it. It's not as big, but they're just as popular, So I just kind of tried to watch them and emulate some of the things that they did. And eventually Josh Saman ended up going to the UFC, and rest in peace. Support the Josh Saman Foundation if you can. Just take a look at it. But those guys are a huge, huge inspiration to me. And they are from the Southeast area of the country. And they've seen a lot of these things happen that we're talking about today. Everybody's really fucking pissed off about, including me, because all these fucking people are trying to take the opportunity to say, oh, you know what? Come look at my jujitsu. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. That's not the fucking issue today. The issue is racism. And those boys know what it's like because they come from the Southeast. The rural parts of Georgia and Florida are very crazy, scary even. One of the very first things I saw when I got there was a KKK rally dedicated to letting everybody know how Mexicans can't speak Spanish in this country and get the fuck out. I was the only Mexican in that bitch, so, I can't even explain to you how that shit felt. I thought that shit was fake as fuck until I saw it with my own eyes, I had been through other racist shit over here in Texas, but you have to go out to the fucking river country and to encounter those people that are like that. In Georgia, in the rural parts of Georgia, in the Southeast, in Brunswick, Georgia, they're everywhere. And jiu-jitsu will not change who they are. This is part of what they're being taught their entire lives. I've posted so much shit on my Facebook feed today, and if none of y'all believe it, just go read it.
Right.
Ask questions. There's dates, times, names of people, witnesses, and I have a lot more stories. I lived there for 2 years.
Yeah. That it's a crazy time right now, and then for this to still be going on, it's nuts. And I know you're talking about jiu-jitsu gyms jumping on. Oh, But I
Wow,
like
you
what
guys are really special.
I like what you posted. Like, you know, it doesn't change the character of that person. You know,
Mhm.
that person's already built that way. So, you know, it's hard to believe that that guy didn't know what he was doing. You know.
Well, he had been charged before with an assault on somebody. I mean, and any of the details of the case, I don't even give a fuck about. My thing is, if you don't know what it fucking feels like, then stay the fuck out of it unless you're doing something positive. If you're out there looking for written loopholes that you can say, oh, well, they were justified, or, oh, hey, my school and I'm this guy, come check me out. Fuck you. You don't know what it's like. You don't.
Right. Yeah, I see. I seen that your post go. I don't know. You have a few posts today that are getting some people. You know, I don't know if they're getting fired up, but they're just getting some truth bombs. I think. I think. That's
Yeah,
pretty
well,
cool.
I mean, that's what I do, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh yeah, you keep it real. I mean, like even without all this, you know, even the bad stuff. Like I said earlier, I like some of your comments that just some of the kind of funny stuff that you go through, just being a matchmaker and promoter. Like, you know, I'm sure you get people that lie a lot on their applications because everyone wants to be on Fight to Win. Like that's a big deal.
I
So
hope so. You know, I work really hard for it, and I like to share what I work really hard on with all of my fucking friends, all of them, white, black, everybody. Doesn't matter because I love everybody. People take a lot of the things that I say and how I act is like all this little hatred and meanness, and it's not. It's passion and a value for my own fucking time. I will not let you waste my time if I'm doing something important for 2,000 people that just
right,
paid me to see their coach, that just paid me to see their child, that are part of the process. That other shit is separate and a fucking part.
right. Yeah, I would say, you know, like I said, what you do, you know, I could imagine it being frustrating because I used to matchmake for MMA fights. Nothing big, just local here in Kentucky and in Ohio. And it gets frustrating, you know. And with your job, everybody wants on a match. You know, everybody wants a match. Everyone wants their kid on a match.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah, and
you're
the volume of people that I deal with is pretty fucking intense. It's thousands of people, literally thousands of people. So when one guy misses something, one guy, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're one guy.
right.
How many shows do you guys usually have a year?
40.
40? Oh, goddamn.
Yeah, they're almost every, you know,
Pretty
right
much every
now.
weekend except for like big holiday weekends.
Mhm.
And like major tournaments like Pans or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
During this time off, you know, everyone's affected financially and stuff, and I'm sure you guys are too, right? You got to cancel quite a bit of shows.
Yeah, the day that March the 14th, I was sitting in Dallas alone. We were supposed to be bringing in a bunch of people. Um, People didn't exactly get the severity of it on that day, but I was pretty torn up and I was in my hotel room. I drove out the day before weigh-in so that I could be ready to pick up everybody from the airport. And then Seth was like, cancel everything. They shut us down. So I had a bunch of people that couldn't, they had no ability to help the situation, asking me, am I being compensated, Gianni Grippo? No, you didn't fight.
Yeah,
Fuck you, Gianni. Not a good time was my feeling at that time. I like Gianni right now. Anyway, he had no, in his defense, he had no way of knowing what it was going to turn into. And he was frustrated from the weight cut and he just, that was that. But his lack of understanding for my situation and my lack of empathy for his situation just really fucking made me go off. And I just started crying and then I was crying for hours, just trying to recuperate money. I was able to get some of it back. I lost about a lot, but some money that I don't have right now belongs to venues and stuff. So, and as things improve, we'll just incorporate that back into the mix. Me personally and Seth, both of us have not paid ourselves since March. And we're trying our very best to operate off of our own personal assets as opposed to taking things away from people. And no, we're not being greedy, asking people to fight for free. We're literally not paying ourselves for months. So, other people are suffering way worse, which is why I don't make a post. Hey, I haven't posted. My closest friends know I haven't paid myself. The internet doesn't have to know. Or I guess now they know because I'm fucking talking about it. Anyways, but that's just part of the stuff that some of these people don't see.
Yeah.
It's all the things that happen behind the scenes. I have trained myself in necessary situations to where I can work for 4 days without sleeping. Right. It takes years to be able to kind of, it's hard, it's not easy, but I started doing that a long time ago, many years ago, and working 1, 2, 3 day shifts. And the biggest satisfaction at the end of that 3rd day shift is all the UFC fighter refs that tell me how tired they are from that 1 day's work.
Yeah.
It was very motivating. Neil Magny, he has no reason to work for $100 at a tournament. Mm-hmm. But if he's tired after 1 day, and I've been up for 3 days, it's real encouraging. It's positive because Neil Magny is he's a superhuman. So that was part of the, training myself psychologically to be able to handle catching a second wind and not sleeping. And so the team no sleep thing, some people get bent out of shape over it, but it's a real fucking thing. Sometimes I don't sleep for 4 days straight, and it's just the way it is. I'm the only one that can do it.
That's nuts. I bet that would be very hard to do. Is that how
not easy?
Right now, you guys are doing back-to-back shows, right?
No, we did one.
Just one.
Mm-hmm.
And
in the same venue.
And the next one is when?
Saturday.
This Saturday.
Same venue. Okay. We're stationed at Gillies for now because they're working with us and we have a really good relationship with them. And the Dallas area has been super dope and, helping us have staff and making sure that there's fighters and everybody that's helped in the last 3 weeks. We really, really appreciate it a lot. Because even after we started doing the show, I planned travel into the future and then they changed the travel rules.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's why I had to stay up for days because I had to redo everything. I had to cancel everything from scratch, redo everything from scratch, keep track of everything, document everything. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it that people don't see. So when people act shitty, I don't have fucking tolerance for that shit. People can go suck a dick and start their own goddamn show as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, so you're related to Seth, you said?
I mean, we're like brother and sister, but we're not blood related.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like his attitude too when it comes to stuff like that. He don't take no shit from anybody, even if they think they're more famous than him.
Everybody's more famous than us. I don't give a fuck about being famous. I do no harm, but I take no shit because I got shit to do. I'm working. If you just want to waste my time with your lazy bullshit, then you need to just stay the fuck away from me. You don't belong.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't. I saw somebody else put something about Fight to Win when they canceled, and they were asking if they were gonna get paid and stuff, and it's like,
yeah, it's like paid with what?
Paid with what?
What do you have to pay them? Like,
I don't give a fuck. I'll give them money right out of my purse if they want to be little bitches about it.
Yeah,
I'll make that money back way faster than they will.
Yeah, yeah, I understand from a lot of them pro grapplers too, like they're counting on money too, but hey man, no one had any control over
pro grappler.
You don't like that?
Blue belt no-gi expert. I mean,
bro, she.
I'm sorry. I know that I'm all worked up and shit, and it's not directed at you. It's just I'm a little frustrated with the situation of all these dudes thinking that all this fucking racism can be ended with jiu-jitsu. It's not a fucking jiu-jitsu problem. It's a goddamn racism problem. It's a human decency problem.
Yeah.
It's true. And it keeps happening. And it's like...
And it will continue to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so... Ethan, did you follow that story in Louisville where they did the no-knock warrant?
The no-knock bullshit? Yeah.
Yeah. They came in and
What's
shot it. They came in
Yes.
and they shot
A
him.
girl that was an EMT, and they were in the wrong house.
And then they arrested him for trying to kill cops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
protecting
and
his-
they were just in street clothes. They didn't announce themselves. They didn't have uniforms on. They were just
I mean, that's what would happen if you came
no-knock bullshit.
through my house. Same thing.
Yeah, some of these motherfuckers are just looking for a fucking excuse to attack somebody.
Yeah.
And always these insecure piece of shit dudes that can't beat the shit out of anybody because they have zero fucking skills to defend themselves. So all they do is pull out their gun and fucking kill people that they can't compete with. That's all it is. Fear.
The biggest thing that gets me is when these guys somehow make it through the system and make it on the street, that the police system doesn't shame them or doesn't arrest them and put them in jail. It's always, oh, no. That's just a bad apple,
Right.
And then that guy just kind of disappears. Nothing really happens to that guy. If I were to do the same thing that some other police officer were to do, like those former police officers in, was it Brunswick or Savannah?
That's where I lived.
Yeah.
Oh, you just logged on. Yeah.
The former police officers that hunted down that one kid and shot him, like, it took 3 months for them to be arrested. Yeah, and then that guy finally got arrested.
2 months, man.
Yeah, 2 months. And then the lawyers that were assigned to it, it almost seemed like they kept purposely getting some of their own cronies, and the guys kept stepping down because they're like, dude, I can't prosecute this or can't work with this guy because I used to work with them, and they kept putting those guys on there. It took almost 3 months for them to be arrested. It's like, it's the systematic, we gotta protect our own instead of being like, those guys are bad apples, shun them from our community. They're not like the rest of the good, the good police officers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me make myself abundantly clear. I know plenty of police officers that are great fucking humans. I'm not talking about police officers.
Right.
I'm talking about racists. People that use their power to terrorize people that are not like them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
2020. Open your fucking eyes, people. But jujitsu, y'all.
I saw another video of that one from the backside that I didn't notice from the front, and there was actually like 2 other cops on him too, laying on his legs and laying on his back. 4, yeah. See,
Yeah, there's 3 cops standing on top of the guy, and then another one like poking him, some shit.
yeah, yeah. I hope they do get charged, with manslaughter, something, because people are telling him, hey, he can't breathe. Hey, he's dying. Like, just let this guy die. Because
The minute I heard about it, I told myself, don't watch this fucking video. Don't do it. Because you know. And then I watched it. That could have been any one of us. Me, you, white, black, it didn't matter. That dude was an arrogant piece of trash, and he killed that motherfucker and looked everybody in the fucking eyes while he did it.
yeah,
Because he could. Because that's the way it is.
right. They said they fired him. That's it so far, right? You guys see
Yeah.
that?
Oh, they got fired.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
If I fuck up on my job, it's some missed paperwork and a shipment goes bad, and I get fired.
Yeah,
That's one thing. Somebody doesn't get their fucking
deliveries.
training potties. But if a cop messes up on his job, somebody dies, somebody, loses a giant chunk of their life, 15 years of their life because somebody fucked up on their job. That's completely fucking different. That's not fireable. That's criminal charge.
Exactly. Because a majority of the people that want to become police officers and cops want to do it for the appropriate reasons. Some people are just little bitches that got picked on in high school, and they want to fucking have a little power, and they want to pull people over with their guns and they want to beat people up because they don't know how to fucking do it any other, and they don't have the humility to go to the gym and learn how to take an ass whooping and how to fix that shit. They don't have the heart for that shit. They have the heart for hate, and they're gonna use it. It's not cops. It's racist. It's bad people. That's what it is. I'm not going on my shit saying bad shit about cops. That's not my point.
Right.
My point is, don't say jujitsu can fix racism because it fucking can't. There's jujitsu in Brunswick, Georgia.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they train a
Right
lot
down
of
the street from
officers.
where that kid got shot.
And they train a lot of officers, cops, federal
Yeah.
agents, ICE. They train everybody there.
The difference, though, is all of those people don't live in Brunswick. They live on the island.
Right.
It doesn't make sense for them to not live on the island because the flexi facility is on the island.
Right. Yeah. The thing is, like, he wasn't like, the officer wasn't panicking and trying to hold this guy in a bad position because, you know, he didn't have control of the guy. He had complete control of the guy, put his knee down on his neck, and just kept it there. Like, jiu-jitsu wouldn't have helped. It wasn't like he needed jiu-jitsu to keep this guy from moving. He did that perfectly fine. Yeah, I hate it. And I do hate when people jump in and try to use jiu-jitsu and to sell it.
Jiu-jitsu saves lives, but not like that shit. Like, this shit is way fucking different.
I like the way Bobby Emmons put it. He said, jiu-jitsu wouldn't necessarily fix this. It probably could have made it even worse. Bad people are bad people. It doesn't make good people. Jiu-jitsu doesn't make good people. If you're a black belt and you're a bad person, you're an extremely dangerous bad person.
Right.
It's like pedophiles and rapists. Once they're a black belt at jiu-jitsu, they're pretty good rapers. I mean, what
That's one thing that I think needs to change about the jiu-jitsu culture as well. There's been so many, just the martial arts culture in general, not necessarily just jiu-jitsu, but the martial arts culture in general, with these dojo owners, gym owners that are black belt, kind of putting themselves on a pedestal and manipulating these women, these young girls, young boys, competitors, into doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Looking at one large gym happens to be in Baltimore, Maryland. I think we all know who that is, and think we all know why the
just say
biggest
it.
competitor.
Lloyd Irvin, if you want to say some shit, why don't you
Lloyd
just
Irvin.
bitch and just say it?
Yeah, Lloyd Irvin, you know?
Yeah, well,
Whether they did it or
you ever say
not,
shit in his face?
it's a horrible fucking thing that, you know, that should not be, that needs to be shunned, you know? And
You don't know what? Specifically what? Explain it to me.
as far as I know, they manipulated.
As far as I know.
Yeah,
Let's move on because you don't know shit.
the story that I know.
Your
was-
story. What do you know? Tell me.
They supposedly raped.
They
somebody.
supposedly. Tell me what you know, not supposedly.
I've only read internet.
I've only
articles,
read.
so
Tell me what you know.
they raped somebody.
So Team Lloyd Irvin raped somebody. Everybody at Team Lloyd, you fucking shit, bro. Oh man.
What happened?
Nick Schultz raped that chick. Nick Schultz did.
Okay.
Not Team Lloyd Irvin. Nick Schultz. And that other
Okay.
fucking dude.
Who was the other guy?
Fucking remember his name. I only know Nick Schultz because he's from Texas. And when he came back to Texas, I kicked him out of one of my tournaments because of it.
Okay.
See, this is the shit with everybody. They want to just start talking shit without having their fucking facts straight.
Yeah, we don't know.
Dude, the
It's
boss,
just what-
look at you.
That's just what we read on like jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, all the articles that I've read, it never mentioned
Good
any
for
names.
you. You can read.
But it's not, we didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to him.
No, I'm saying, but like we wouldn't know. Like you know, like facts. Like
Yeah,
we don't
well,
know
you
the
just
facts.
said you read some shit, but you didn't come out with anything significant from it.
Right.
All you did was just say, "Hey, we know about those guys, Team Lloyd Irvin." That's not the fucking way it is. Nick Schultz raped that chick with his little buddy that was not part of the team.
Was that guy living at the house? Is that why he got associated with it?
I, I didn't live at the fucking house, so I don't know what happened in that house. I trained at Team Leader in Savannah, and I can tell you this much: those dudes in that gym were the best fucking thing for me out there when I was in Brunswick getting harassed by all those fucking racists. Everybody, every one of those dudes at Team Leader in Savannah had my fucking back. 100%.
Is that the post where you were dealing with the racists in Brunswick at your work?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the South. That everyone has a Confederate flag out there.
Mm-hmm.
You get pumped up.
Yeah, I'm a passionate motherfucker. That's how I get shit done.
I like it though.
It's good. It's good passion.
It is. You have to come across that a lot with jiu-jitsu when you're matching. Like
I'm not a matchmaker.
No.
No, we have a matchmaker named Seth Daniels.
So you just go through the applications?
That's all they do. Yeah, I just go through the applications.
I mean, do you put the ones that you want on or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that easy? Tough?
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah. Huh?
Everything I do is easy. I only have one job.
That's why I'm asking you. How would I know?
Because at the beginning of this whole shit, you start trying to ask me to fucking introduce myself to people that already fucking know me.
Okay.
Okay. And you're asking me questions based on, I read a thing one time, ooh, like little girls, man.
What if I have people that didn't know you and I needed to introduce you?
They can figure it out. Just as much as they're looking in their phone with a little clickety click, 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 they can click on my name and voila, my whole fucking resume is right there on my Insta front page. Boom.
It says promoter.
Did you read that?
Yeah.
Good. You came out with a fact on something that you read.
Did it say life coach?
It says inspirational speaker is what it says.
Okay. I like that. Why are you so mad?
Because y'all so full of shit. You just start throwing shit out there with no substance. The minute I log out, you're going to start talking shit about me like you know shit about me.
No, I follow you. That's why I like this. You're always blunt. You're always talking, getting mad at people. I mean, that's good, right?
Get mad at people. How about, let's present it this way, having no tolerance for bullshit people.
Yeah. And that's what I was asking about some of these people.
And that's what I answered.
Put in applications that piss you off, or maybe they lie.
The application process doesn't piss me off. The application process is actually pretty fun because I get to see a little bit of everybody's information. I get to know, who's interested in being in what shows. Because sometimes people apply even if they're not from the same area. So sometimes those are people that have won previous matches that will kind of bring, like if they're on their way to or it's a title shot, just whatever. Like I get to see, what makes the most sense, and so I'll take the whole pool of applications. This last one was 600. Actually, it was like 1,200, but I cut it down to 600, and there were 200 was black belts. I mean, the pool's high level. Doesn't sound like you're 200 black belts, but yeah, the pool is very high level. But yeah,
that's got to be really difficult. That's got to be pretty difficult to choose which ones, because so many high levels want on, right?
Yeah.
So, and you have to turn down quite a bit.
I wouldn't exactly call it turning down. I would just say kind of like maneuvering it around to do what makes the most sense for that particular show. Just like if you're in an area where it could be split, like, say you're in LA or San Diego, some of the people make sense to put on and some of them don't. Like, so you have to kind of mix and match in certain areas and certain cities. But it's just like a puzzle.
Right. Now, I know you said you didn't matchmake, but like being behind the scenes, like say you have two favorite grapplers, or you've been doing
stuff like that. If there's a match I want and I say it, I get it. But
you get it.
Like for the most part, I mean, and I do. Okay, fine. I do add my input to what I think, but it's all based on not. it's based on status, kind of in accomplishment based, you know.
Right.
So, and it changes weekly because there's so many competitions. So it's kind of like a continuous cycle. It's hard to like pinpoint one person because, you know, jiu-jitsu is so dynamic. I mean, the wins and losses come and go. Like, it's numerically, sometimes it's just easier to use more local talent and then spend a lot of money on the top level. It just varies so much in every different area, though, because of how many jiu-jitsu schools there are in Southern California, Northern California. You know, there's a lot of options, but in some place like maybe Orlando, Florida, like the pool becomes much smaller. You know, not to say that there's not excellent jiu-jitsu in Florida, because there really is, and there's a ton of great people out there. It's just the volume. It's a little bit easier to work with in California than it is in Florida.
So in the smaller places, you're not necessarily taking preference over like world and pans champions, but more the smaller guys that the locals would know.
Like, are you a black belt?
No.
What's your belt?
Brown.
Okay, so say I was in your city, and I would take your application, I take the rest of the application for brown belt, and I would just kind of look and see what makes the most sense for this guy. So we try to match very evenly, and we do split between adults and masters, unless a master specifically says, no, I want to fight adult.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's what I was just wondering. I was just curious because, you know, being a matchmaker, like when I was a matchmaking, you know, or just people that are fans of something, you're just like, oh man, I would like to see so-and-so versus so-and-so. Like, you actually can make that happen, you know, so I think that's pretty awesome. Like,
yeah, it is really cool. And a lot of times we get to make matches that some people that have never even happened before. Some people have been wanting to see for a long time. So we like to put those on because we try to stay away from like rematches and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you guys get such big names. And then, I don't know if you guys still do it, but I used to see you guys used to post your payouts.
Yeah, every fucking show. We're transparent as fuck.
That is crazy, man.
Put out over $1 million consistently for the past 3 years.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on IBJJF?
I don't have any.
No.
No, I only pay attention to myself.
That's it. Do you guys ever try to take their, you know, I don't know, their champs and stuff and put them against, like, make the matches that you would have thought you would have seen in the finals of an IBJF Masters or Worlds?
I mean, like, if you thought about it that way, kind of, but the way that it kind of ends up playing out, it's kind of like that anyways. So, like, all the guys that ended up with us over there at ADCC are obviously guys that we had been working for consistently, but these are all like the top level guys that everybody wants to work with. And it just kind of sometimes is a web of who's available. Is somebody only doing no-gi this year, or somebody in, like, there's just so many dynamics that can change every aspect of how the show is planned.
Coming off this quarantine, starting up, did you guys have to lower your pays, or, you know, like?
Yeah, it's getting started back up without an audience is hard because you can't sell tickets. So we had to kind of completely restructure the way everything was done. Me and Seth made personal sacrifices to make sure that the show could go on and that we could build, because we really felt like if we took our personal losses, we would be able to recover from them a lot faster than, you know, some other people. And we're super close to being on the other side of that now. But the thing is, we hadn't stopped working the whole entire time. A lot of people had 2 months off. We didn't, you know? Right.
Just kept thinking of how to recover from this, right?
That, a few different things. How to recover from it. How to get people back into their gyms. How to stop people from being so heartbroken over the loss of the jiu-jitsu that just brings so much to people's lives, you know? And when that's their livelihood and they're our friends that support us, we're going to do every fucking thing that we can to push through and work so that people want to put their eyes back on everything again. People get that bug again. I mean, over the last 3 months, I've done a lot of fucking crying, you know, I've had a lot of fucking ups and downs, but the one thing that I did not stop doing was working hard as fuck all day and night to make sure that we can all get our stuff back, you know, so that we can get back to normal and start making shit better. You know, anybody that wants to sit back and relax, you go ahead. I'm not here for that. I want to leave something behind for myself, for my kids, for your kids, all of our kids. It's the legacy that we're leaving behind, and what we're telling people we're about. You know, I like to keep it real. You know, if somebody has a problem with me, that's their problem, and I'm not worried about it. I don't watch anybody. I pay attention to myself, and everything that I do comes from my fucking heart. And I do it for everybody that's been to any fucking show, anybody that's watched the show, anybody that supported us in any way, because it means something to me. It's my life work, and I want to share it with everybody, whether they like Mexicans or not. So it's just the way it is. I don't care who comes on. If somebody's racist and they get on, you fuck. That's not my shit. That's not me. It says more about them than it does about me. I know who I am. I know what I stand for. I know how hard I work, and I really don't care if people are butthurt by the way that I respond to them.
Right. So when do you guys get to sell tickets and have seating?
Oh man, the rules on that keep changing. Super dynamic right now, so we have to kind of play it just, you know, day by day, sometimes even hour by hour, because sometimes I'll finish something and Seth will be like, guess what, the rules change, and then I say, just fucking finish this. I'm out, do it over again. Okay, fine. And just the cycle starts over and continues.
Are your guys' gyms open?
No comment.
They're not open officially yet. Yeah, we know that feeling. I think Kentucky. We
For me, it doesn't matter, because I can like go to Denver and train in the front room and with, you know, Seth, and we have like a lot of people in the neighborhood that it's easy there.
Right.
When I'm in Texas, I'm either working or driving, so it's just kind of a compromise between all those things, and it's a back and forth. But my personal jiu-jitsu plans are to, in the next certain amount of time, I'm going to move to Denver and I'm going to start training at the compound. It's a Rafael Lovato team, and then when I am in the position to do so, I'm going to move to Oklahoma City and get my black belt from Rafael Lovato Jr.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
That's pretty dope. Yeah. Denver would be nice to visit. I've never been out there, but I heard it's
Still back 2 months.
That's where you. So you just she stayed at Seth Daniels' house, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess they quarantined there with a bunch of jiu-jitsu people. Purple.
Yeah.
So.
He's got a pretty dope house. It's huge. A lot of rooms. A lot of room for all of us. Lots of art. Beautiful mats.
And train.
Weights. I mean,
train all day.
Pretty much neat. Mm-hmm. And then
so they really didn't skip a beat.
Actually, like the first week was fucking weird, and we all kind of like sat around eating snacks, thinking like, okay, we're just gonna be back. But then, like, once we realized, like, this is fucking different, and we need to be doing something that everybody else is not. So we kind of gathered together, and they're saying, no way we're gonna come out of this fucking thing fat. We're gonna work out every day. We're gonna work hard on our business, and we're gonna recover, and we're doing it for all of our people.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that about the jiu-jitsu community. A lot of people stay training, secretly training, or house training. And we kind of did the same thing out here.
A lot of people were out there making efforts. You know, they were doing like those online things where it's like all the people, whatever the fuck that is. I did not watch one single thing of those because I was very, very, very fortunate to have my brothers from the crew there, and we just train every day. That's all we did every day.
Do you guys ever have time when you go to other cities to like have a day to go train at someone else's gym?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, a lot.
Do you make time for that?
Yeah, for sure. The last one we showed up to was, I believe, Element.
Yeah, that.
No. I can't remember, but it was not Element. It was. I'll remember in a second. Just sorry.
That's pretty cool though. Like to travel, cross train, and then you have to stress when's your stress level like finished? Like, are you watching it comfortably? Do you get to enjoy it, or are you still on the go?
Well, right now, since we don't have an audience, I get to watch a lot of the show. But when we have the audience, those 2,000 people are my responsibility. My main job is to make sure that they wait in line as least as possible. I want that shit to be like fucking Disneyland, Chick-fil-A. It's my fucking pleasure. Go sit down, enjoy the show. You know, efficiently. That's why that dude that complained on my Facebook earlier about how much I hurt his feelings when he was getting a comp ticket for not stopping everybody that was in line and explaining to him the process of how to walk into an event, like if you've never been out the house before. You know, it's just people don't get what they're seeing,
Right.
Especially people like that fucking dude, Lionel Turner, Leo Optics.
How big is your crew that you guys travel with for a setup? Like
5 people right now.
Is that a good, or do you need more?
Well, we're good.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like,
because the thing, like we're like all stationed up in Dallas until we move, so there's not the same. I mean, you've been to a show, right?
right, yes.
Have you?
I have not. I've been to similar shows, but I've never been to.
Okay, so you see the whole entire setup. So the process is we get there the day before, start weigh-ins, and then start building like the whole entire setup. And it's our short crew. And then we do the show, get the people in, finish up, and then tear everything apart, stuff it back in the truck, and move on. In this scenario, we set it up 3 weeks ago, and we haven't had to take it down and put it back up. You know,
nice.
Okay.
So having only 5 people on the crew makes the most sense.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I mean the production is huge. Like, if, you know, what you see on TV, you know, like it looks huge even on TV. But when you're actually there and you're backstage and you see how big the stage is, the lights everywhere, like it's crazy, man. You don't get that. You know, it doesn't. You know, it doesn't show that on TV. But when you're there, it's like, man. I couldn't imagine the putting up the process of that stage.
Yeah, and everything is heavy as fuck too. That's why none of us are fat.
Yeah, dude. The production's so pretty, man. It's
Thank
perfect.
you.
It is perfect.
Yeah,
Yes.
friend Evan, he's got a lot of experience in the lighting in concert industry, so he does a lot of the lighting. He makes it look really, really visually beautiful. Seth listens to everybody's song. We all like put a lot of care into what it looks like when somebody walks out, or in what it sounds like when somebody walks out, because you know we've taken a long time to acquire all this production equipment, and we own 100% of it.
Right.
So we try our best to use it to make everybody feel like a fucking rock star. You know, I'm really good friends with Gabby Garcia, and you know, she always, you know, she gets really kind of inspirational when she's training and stuff. And she says, you know, these are the moments that people train for. When they walk out on that stage,
Right.
they let go of everything and it's time to fucking go. They've been training for this for weeks. It changes their lives. It changes their teammates' lives, you know, their families' lives. You know, and when we have the audience, those are the people that they have in their school with them. So when they're looking at what they're seeing on stage, it's not like MMA, because when you go to an MMA show, a lot of those dudes don't train. They just watch it on TV and yell shit at TV. You know, none of them have ever really truly been punched in the face to know, oh, why don't you do shit? Like there's little shit you hear in the crowd of people that think they're a fucking Muay Thai master or some shit. It's different in jiu-jitsu, because when you're in that jiu-jitsu audience watching somebody on that stage, you know exactly what every single fucking position feels like. You know what it's like when your teammate hits that fucking submission that he's really fucking good at. You know exactly what that feels like, and he's like, oh, that motherfucker does that to me all the goddamn time. That's a different connection. That's a different connection, because you know the feeling, and it's more of like a community. And when I walk into one of my shows, I feel like I know every single fucking person in there. And I know that I could go to any one of their gyms and just train.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different relationship than any other organized sport on the planet. Grappling is the best.
Yes, the atmosphere is definitely, and I preach that to people all the time. Like, going to an MMA show, like if you know somebody, you know, you're close to locally, then that's, you know, it's fun to go watch them fight. But
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu shows, like, I mean, even though I could go to any fight to win, I'm gonna know somebody
for
that
sure. Oh, for sure.
you know, and the atmosphere, the people in the audience, that's what it is. Like they have the jiu-jitsu culture is just more mannered, I feel like, than the MMA culture. But
Well, not, I mean, everybody in the room, pretty much everybody in the room is either a practitioner or a relative of the practitioner.
right,
Mhm.
So our goal is to get the relatives into the gyms because, and the friends into the gyms because they see how much everybody else is doing it. They get to see that guy looks like a fucking nerd. I could kick his ass. Try it. Because
yeah,
those nerds are the worst motherfuckers. They just fucking do all kinds of crazy shit. It takes a while. So getting people into the gyms and stuff like that has been one of the best things that we're able to do for, you know, the people that are on the card, building their local gyms, you know, promoting them as people, the people that support us, you know, giving them all that exposure so they're able to book more seminars, they're able to attract more people into their gyms, and you know, jiu-jitsu is technically everybody can try it, maybe not be for everybody like some people say, but sometimes you see somebody walk in the gym and you think that motherfucker ain't gonna last, you know, he's 2 days and he's gone, and that dude ends up becoming a world champion, you know.
it's true.
The thing with people that are looking for jiu-jitsu that don't have it is that they're looking for something, you know, a sense of community, a sense of this tribal feeling, and that hand-to-hand combat is the purest form of combat that you can really fucking do. And some people, they know they're a fucking warrior. They grow up like that. Some people don't know it until they find jiu-jitsu, you know, and they become, you know, a part of something. They go from being bullied and or not having anybody or feeling lonely into having a big family, you know, and that's way different than, you know, what we're all talking about earlier. You know,
Right.
jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
won't end racism. It won't stop people from being terrorists and using their power to harm us, you know. Jiu-jitsu will provide a sense of community to somebody that's looking for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's very different. There's two very different things. And because jiu-jitsu has saved so many of our lives, it's just natural that we want that for other people. And you know, to want to believe that these people have good in them. And maybe some of them do.
Right.
Maybe some of them don't.
It is. I know that feeling, and then also when you meet people that train jujitsu once and then they quit, and it's like, how do you quit this? Like, I don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
I've been around this forever. Like, I don't see it. And then
Well, there, you know, you guys know this. All of us know this. You know, the mat's the equalizer. An engineer can walk onto that mat and get his ass whipped by a homeless dude any day of the fucking week. You know, this is all skill based. And it's what you put in. If you don't have the humility to know when you're beaten and tap and want to get better and understand, like, oh, I fucked up. You know, the jiu-jitsu creates a desire to become better. It applies short-term accountability goals to your life, whether you recognize it or not. And the repetition of things like that creates a bigger cycle, and that becomes addicting. So when you start to become successful at it, you're just like, oh, I'm not the worst white belt on them. And it just, you know, you start off at the end of that fucking line. And then one day you're at the fucking other side and people are asking you questions and looking. So it's a continuous cycle of helping people that want to be part of that, not people that are looking for that so they can go beat people up that they don't like.
Yeah. I've seen for the most part, for most, you know, good jiu-jitsu practitioners, it doesn't necessarily, like, you can't necessarily have no ego in jiu-jitsu because you just won't get better. It kind of changes your ego from thinking you're the biggest, baddest dude to, oh shit, this guy keeps tapping me. I got to get fucking better at, you know, not getting my guard passed, not getting, you know, giving up that choke, whatever. I got to get fucking better, you know. That's the kind of ego it changes, you know.
It does, and it's funny that you say that because, like, when I was a white belt, and the little kids started getting bigger than me. I was like, fuck, man, I can't fucking deal with you. I was 120 pounds. All the little yellow belt, 16-year-old, 160-pound kids were beating the shit out of me. I was like, fuck, man. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. I have nothing to offer. Let me just see. And then, eventually, the Tackett boys, I just said, you know what? I'm just going to watch William and see what the fuck he's doing, because that kid whoops my ass. It's so hard to submit. He was getting really good. And I just kind of started really picking up stuff about guard retention. And I was just like, whoa, I'm very lucky to have had many training sessions with those boys. They're so great. Their family's great too. But yeah, it's a great feeling finding success and then developing it, because and once you get that bug, you're never going to stop.
Yeah.
Did you train at their gym? Is that?
I was training in Houston, and their gym was the sister gym of our gym. So they would come over on weekends and train, and then sometimes I would go to Austin and train with them.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I love watching them grapple.
They're so great, and they're really nice, sweet kids.
So you were rolling with them when they were just kids.
Well, yeah, they were a lot smaller than me, and they I'm telling you, they were like, it's unbelievable. Like, I look at them now, and they're fucking grown ass men.
Right.
And they're way bigger than me. I used to be like, oh, they're so cute, and all these kids that came up in the Texas tournament scene that I've gotten to grow up, every time I see them in person, I lose my shit. I'm like, how the fuck do you have a baby, sir?
Yeah, that is crazy. Well, Fight to Win, you guys have a good platform for kids too. Like, I mean, yeah. I love seeing the kids on their posters and their little Instagram, and they're sharing it. And,
I love it too.
And
a great part about the kids is when the teams cheer for the kids. Oh man, they cheer so hard, and the moms and dads jump up and down, and I instantly start fucking crying. I'm just like, oh my god, I can't believe it. And it's a really good feeling when everybody's jumping up and cheering for their teammate, because you're just like, that makes them want to do what that dude is doing,
Yeah. Oh yeah, the kids are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these kids, like, the talent is crazy. Like, to see these.
Some of these kids are fucking black belts, dude. I mean, this shit is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
They've been training since they were zero type shit. I mean, man, I'm like super happy for anybody that has a parent that's a grappler that started when they were super little. That's great, because when I was in high school, I was not allowed to join the wrestling team. I've been this exact same size since I was 13, so I felt like I could do it. I was a big girl. I was 135 pounds at 13. I was an athlete, and I was just like, I'm bigger than one dude on the team. So they said no girls allowed, and this was 20 years ago. I come from the border of Mexico. They just didn't allow it, and my family in Illinois is a wrestling family, so I had no wrestling, and they got jiu-jitsu, but I mean, we're all grapplers, but I kind of wish I had some more wrestling.
Yeah.
Jealous of my cousins.
Yeah, man, kids don't realize how nice they have it now. Like, you can find jiu-jitsu everywhere. You can find wrestling. There's, Ohio's doing it really big for girls and women's wrestling. So they have their own state. They have everything.
Yeah, Texas is a lot different now than it was back when I was in high school. I'm 41 years old, so this shit was like 25 years ago. The girls that are doing it now have some great opportunities. They got some really good boys to train with them. They got a ton of great girls. And Texas is really starting to stand out in the wrestling. Well, it's been standing out. The girls wrestling scene is getting bigger and bigger and bigger every fucking year. And you guys keep putting your girls in wrestling, y'all. I didn't get the chance to do it.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I have 2 daughters. I have a son too, and they train jiu-jitsu. So,
was it North Carolina where that girl won the boys' state tournament?
Recently, not too long.
Yeah, I think this year or last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
that was badass.
Yeah, hell yeah. That shit is fucking nuts. Yeah, I look up to her a lot. People say, "Oh, you're the boss," and this and that. But the truth behind that is there are a lot of people that I look up to in the sports, in my life, out of Houston. I got a lot of heroes and a lot of girls in the sport that I really look up to that, I watch, like Nikki Sullivan, Sophia Nordano, Heather Woods, like all of my heroes have become my friends over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's a true friendship because when somebody beats you up and you're okay with it, I mean, it's a different level of shit right there.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nikki Sullivan, she's a hard roll. Like she's so flexible. She's been down to our open mats before when she used to live out this way. And
she's great. And the best thing about Nikki is she's a kind woman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's very considerate, and she is a very unique, beautiful person, and I'm very, very lucky to have her as a friend.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's a killer on the mats.
She's a fucking savage, bro.
Yeah.
She's dope, yeah.
Yeah, and she is. She's a very sweet, nice person. I never hear anything bad about her, and anytime I've ever met her, she's just super nice, super friendly, and it's pretty awesome to see her, transform into this killer black belt,
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I'm super happy for her.
Well, Missy, we hit an hour. I do appreciate you coming on here. I love your passion, for real. I do. And don't think I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I follow you, man. I love how blunt you are.
What were you getting yourself into?
Like I wanted to get you going. I wanted to hear some of that bluntness. Like I love it. I mean, I don't like the fact that everything bad's going on right now, but I do like people that post their heart. They're not afraid to hold back. And
the reason that I picked up so much is, just let me tell you, is because there's people out there that don't know how. And when I do it, I feel like I give a little bit of a voice and some strength for people to kind of start figuring out how to voice what they feel. Because I take a very long-winded post and I say it in one sentence. And that's part of my business training. I get rid of all the fucking filler and I get straight to the point. And that's what that was about from earlier.
I like it. Like I said, I follow your Facebook post, and like from really horrible stuff to the funny stuff to when someone pisses you off with their application or they're rude or they want their girlfriend. I like when they want their girlfriends in free and stuff like that.
Okay, so on the front end of the podcast, I was like, don't ask me who I am or what I do or but whatever. Sometimes these people walk in and they have no fucking clue who I am. They're like, look at this garbage can ticket lady wearing pajamas. I'm going to act like I'm special so she can let my girlfriend in. Because look, I'm purple belt and I teach a kids class. Oh, single mom. Fuck no. Your girlfriend can kick rocks and you can too.
Yeah, I've witnessed it. People trying to get in free and like, well, my so-and-so said I could get in, or they said the boss said I could get in free or something. You're like,
yeah, tell them to ask for Missy Estrada.
I know, I was there. I was standing in front of the room and I heard you're like, no, I'm the boss. You're not getting in.
Yeah, just like that fat black belt from Zombie last week and they tried to tell me some shit at weigh-ins. Bye. My friend took his match as a purple belt and got his brown belt on stage. You're replaceable, SA. You're fat and nobody likes you and nobody knows who the fuck you are.
See, bro? That's what I'm talking about. Well, hopefully when this lockdown's over and you guys come out to Chicago or something, we could check out a show.
Hell yeah, come on down. Like, Chicago's a fucking fun show. Those are my people in Chicago. I love Chicago.
Yeah.
Mark Patty Archula, everybody, Dean Redsvik, all of Chicago's great. I love it.
Yeah.
I
love Chicago. But thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. I'm gonna keep in touch because I love following your Facebook. And
I just try to keep it real.
If you guys are applying for Fight to Win, don't piss her off.
No, put your funny shit in there because that's a long, tedious job, and some of those white belts and blue belts put some funny fucking shit in there, man. They want to explain why they're a blue belt or explain why they're a high level white belt. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, you probably could have your own podcast on just like the stuff you see from the applications.
Oh, probably, and all the crazy shit that happens on the road. It's crazy. We need to do this again so I can yell at y'all a little bit more.
Let's do it. Let's do it again.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm gonna catch up with you in a few weeks and see how the shows are going. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for being on.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Later.
Peace.